Angelique, welcome today to AlphaSpringsEdu and to our series on the power of storytelling. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. Storytelling is a part of AlphaSpringsEdu. Every child can succeed with the right learning support program. We believe that school should be enjoyed and not endured, and so we want to make learning less daunting for families of school-aged children. And over the years, guess what stands out for us? The little changes, those tiny little changes and sacrifices of families and educators in the academic success life of students. Academic success doesn't have to be the story of a few kids down the road. It can be and should be the story of every student. That's why, together with educators and families like yourself, we create unique learning plans that meet unique learning needs. So now, Angelique, you are a successful businesswoman, and your passion is on social media visibility. Social media visibility, we know, involves stories. Share with us a challenge that you face and how a story helped you to deal with that challenge.
Thank you for having me because I feel very honored. Thank you. So let's start with the first question, Margaret. Like you said, a challenge. And because you introduced me on online visibility strategies for women entrepreneurs, I think my own challenge in that world was to, how do you become an entrepreneur when you're not from an entrepreneurship family? So I didn't know anything about entrepreneurship. What I knew only is that, what I've noticed is that when something is lacking in your life, so for me, I lost my job twice in a row.
And what story has helped you in dealing with challenges?
That's a good one. Yeah, because there is a few that comes to mind. Is that Winnie the Pooh, where you have the three bear that comes? Yeah.
Do you mean the three little bears?
That story always, as a child, there was something that was very, there are some stories that really resonate with you more than others for whatever reason, right? But this one is always, the feeling of that story, like where everybody at the end has their little bed, medium bed, small bed, little bowl, big bowl, like everybody's organized, it's cozy and it's peaceful, and it's so, the warmth of that story, it's really what I'm building with my business. That's time, like I want to build a business that, and there are so many challenges, right, in that story. Yeah. But at the end of the day, everybody had their little table and everything was so cute and it felt safe. Mm-hmm. I guess that's maybe that safe and warm and cozy. That's kind of the feeling that comes out of that story that I read many times when I was a kid, but that never really left me. The idea of having, because at the end of the day, when we start our business and become visible on social media, we want to help others transform their life, whether it's personal or professional, with something we went through ourselves. And we know that it's possible to go from A to Z and feel way better. So we want to help others go, even though we have a unique stories, each of us, right? But there is some commonalities in our stories, right? We get lost, and then how do you find your way again? And you end up to a place that is even better of where you got lost originally. That's kind of the story of life. And businesses, when you build a business and you talk about your business online so that you tell people how you can help them. For you, Margaret, you help families and kids and youth to reconnect with a sense of learning from your own way, that there is another way. There's, traditional stuff is just limited. You have other ways. There's other ways to do it. And you're here to show the possibilities, right, to your audience. So we are those lighthouses. I call us the lighthouses of the internet. where every day we light on, or whatever the frequency you show up on social media, but you put the light on and you tell people, hey guys, if you're lost at sea, I'm here on that coast, and this is what we do around my lighthouse. I can help you with this. And then when you get that transformation with me, you're going to feel that way, and you're going to move on in your life, towards your dreams. Because each of us, we have our unique stories and we have all dreams.
And secondly, considering how to increase academic success probability, what advice and suggestion would you give parents and educators about harnessing the power of storytelling in learning?
So I'm going to answer this question by sharing my story of a mom. I'm a mom of a 19-year-old boy, and if you would have told me that was 10 years ago or 7 years ago, Angelique, you're gonna remove your son from school and you're gonna homeschool your son. Oh no, before you homeschool him, you're gonna send him in a forest where he's gonna be in a forest school. Literally in a forest. I would have said, are you crazy? But this is my point of the story here is, my son was struggling at school emotionally. And we couldn't help him. We tried a bunch of stuff. And then the thing is, and as parents, this is what the big lesson I learned. You have to listen to your kid because they know. And now they know because, that we were talking earlier about our inner voice, our wisdom. When you're young, and I know that the perception is like, oh, kids are kids. I don't agree with it. They're so pure in terms of they don't have as many layers of the societal beliefs and limiting beliefs, right? When you're young, you have some, but you have less than when you're 40. But then, so for me, the story was like, oh my God, is being able to talk to your kid and say, what do you need the most right now? And if the answer is, I don't want to go to school anymore, it's okay. Okay. So that's what we got. And that's, I think, one of the biggest of my life is, as a mom, I didn't know what to do. I felt within me that I had to listen to him. How we would handle it, I have no idea. But then you trust the process. So suddenly people who were into the homeschooling world showed up in my life. Some people say, oh, did you hear about that school 2 hours from where we were living? They have a school in the forest. And my son was someone who was always outside in the forest. So we talked to him about it. And that was very scary, because if he was saying, yes, I want to go, then Abumini would not live with us anymore. He was only, I think he was 9 or 10 or 11. And he said, yes, I want to go and visit. And everything took place. Really, it was pure unknown. No idea what we were doing, but it was trusting the process. And so my son stayed, I think, 5 months in the forest school. Like literally your seat in the school where from a tree cut in pieces, you would take a piece of the tree, sit down as a circle. All the kids were 13, and it was happening in the forest all day long. So 5 months in the forest, what do we do next? Homeschooling. No idea what is homeschooling about. I met some friends who taught me a little bit how to do it. Again, I didn't do it like everybody was telling me to do it. I learned from them, took what I needed, transferred it to my son, who was homeschooled for a year, alone at home, doing his own homeschooling with the help of my mom for math in France on Zoom. But you would have told me that when I was, starting to be a mom, I would have, So this is why your job, your work, Margaret, in that world is so important, because you make unfamiliar ways of learning familiar. And not like a weird thing, or my God, you're not normal, or you're broken, or you don't fit. No, everybody fits. It's just being able to recognize that certain people, they don't live well in the traditional way of doing things. And how, as a mom and a dad, because my husband was involved in the process, we had to trust our son and trust the universe, whatever you believe in, that there was another way to do it. And nobody died at the end. Is now very like, but holy moly, it's so scary when you have to make choices that are different than the regular path. So I don't know if that story helps anybody here, but when I say that to parents, listen to your kid. They're like, what? But this doesn't make sense what I said, but it makes sense because they know. And we're scared and we project our fears on them, but they know. We need to help them and listen to more of our kids. That's my big message from it. Really changed the way I parented after that. And it's a relationship, it's a trust relationship that you build, that is trusting yourself, that as long as your family is safe, like physically not in danger, there is so many opportunities to do things differently.
Thank you so much, Angelique. I just enjoy how you present things. I love your perspective. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me today to share on the power of storytelling in learning. And I wish you more success. Bye-bye.